Spanish town in North Africa that is a magnet for migrants,
I have a dream.
where many die trying to get to the mainland.
I see die in the water.
If they make it across, they can end up here in homes that are hovels.
No water, no electricity. This is where you used to live.
Maybe 100,000 picking fruit and vegetables for an insatiable European market.
On gagne un petit peu de l'argent, mais ça ne suffit pas.
Why is Spain now telling 500,000 illegal immigrants they can stay and infuriating the far right?
Si en España lo llenamos de gente extranjera, dejará de ser España.
Modern Spaniards apparently don't like old-fashioned work,
Young people don't want to work in the field.
so a gap has to be filled, and there are plenty prepared to help.
The thing is, nobody in Spain seems to want to do a job like this, and that means more and more people are needed to come in from outside. Welcome to Beyond Borders.
It may be only 30 kilometers from this tip of southern Spain to North Africa, but in reality, it is a world away. Ceuta, a tiny town bordered by Morocco, is where migrants converge. Because while it's on the African continent, it is actually part of Spain and is in the European Union, and that's where these people want to be. Eventually, they hope to make it to the mainland.
I have a dream. I want to make my dream true.
Yassine has done it before and been sent back. He smuggled himself to Spain from Tangiers, hidden under a lorry. There followed a journey across Europe before 2 years in Germany. Yassine would eventually be deported after serving 4 months in prison for assault. Another time he tried kayaking across the Straits of Gibraltar, but was caught and returned to his home country, Morocco.
When I go to water and he catch me, the Guardia Civil, and he...
On the latest occasion, Yassine swam from Morocco into Ceuta, and today he's at a charity to get food.
Look. Oh! No problem.
¿La problema de inmigrantes
Sí.
es más ahora o menos?
Es más grande ahora que antes.
¿Sí?
Sí, antes no había mucha inmigración. Ahora estamos viendo inmigración generalmente una mixta. Surafricanos, centroafricanos, asiáticos y evidentemente...
¿Asiáticos?
Sí, también hay asiáticos. Hay de Bangladesh, hay de la India,
sí,
claro.
Sí.
Todos los días vienen a comer aquí, de lunes a viernes. Hacemos nosotros comidas y lo vemos aquí todos los días. Sí.
Y aquí tenemos pescado. Ven aquí. ¿Qué es eso?
Es un tajín de pescado.
Tagina.
Sí.
Tagina de Morocco.
Sí.
Sí.
Moruno.
I'm coming to swimming with water, you know?
A wound Yassine got while swimming into Ceuta still hasn't healed.
You see what's happened? 2 months. 2 months. I want to buy just the water. You don't give me just the water.
That's to clean
See?
your wound.
Yeah, clean my food. 8 hours in swimming. 8 hours, you know? I see die in the water.
You saw people die.
Yeah, some people die, and they hurt. A lot of people hurt pain.
They were hurting.
Help me, please. Yeah, in the water. I have 8 hours, and they come here.
Like Yassine, other migrants on the streets of Ceuta are hoping for casual work. From corner cafes comes the smell of hashish. They hope to get papers so they can legitimately reach the roads to Madrid and other European cities.
Have you been working?
I worked one time or 2 times with €15 per day. Really hard work, really hard work. You clean, every what people do not here, we can do it, and with a cheap price.
Khaled says he needs to be somewhere like Madrid for eye surgery. If he gets that, he says, he'll be able once again to represent his country at archery.
And if you don't get treatment, what will happen to your eyes?
Maybe I lose my eyes. Not maybe, I lose my eyes.
He hopes to be at the Olympics in 2028. Many of those who try to swim to Ceuta don't make it. The Straits of Gibraltar have fast currents, and in 2025 they buried 45 migrants here. Many lie in unmarked graves, their names unknown. Authorities do try to establish who they are, and shortly before our visit, a teenage boy was identified through DNA testing, and his body returned to family in Algeria. Our journey back to the Iberian Peninsula is a chance to reflect on what Spain must do to survive economically. Birth rates are falling, young people are leaving rural areas, and there aren't enough workers prepared to do menial jobs. Immigrants are needed, and Spain has a plan, as we find out later in the week. The problem's explained to us by an expert on migration.
España, sinceramente, ahora mismo no puede vivir sin la inmigración. No funcionaría. Vemos que hay nichos de empleo, cuidados, personas mayores, agricultura, construcción, que lo están ocupando inmigrantes porque se quedan vacíos, porque no hay mano de obra en España.
If those people who say immigration is wrong got what they wanted and the immigrants went home, what would happen to Spain?
Es que es un imposible. Es que ahora mismo la inmigración en España es estructural.
We've left Ceuta behind, a place we've been told that everyone wants to escape from. Our landing point has been Algeciras, the mainland port town closest to the shores of Africa. And here we're told about what are considered to be 2 types of immigrants: those with no connection to Spain and those whose families go back generations, like many of those at this market.
Most of these stores here are run by people originally from North Africa. The other African migrants who make it here, those referred to often as black Africans, well, they may well be responsible for bringing all this incredible produce here in the first place.
To find those migrants said to have little or no generational connection with Spain, those that some have told us are not so legitimate, we head for the southeastern coast and the province of Almeria.
Both sides of the road stretching as far as the eye can see. Thousands and thousands of these polytunnels, what they call a sea of plastic. And inside them, many undocumented illegal immigrants.
It's a cold and wet January, and yet here they're growing things that you would not normally find in a European winter: cucumbers, tomatoes, peppers, zucchini, watermelons and avocados, and those pineapples. The region produces more than 3.5 million tons of food every year, half of all Europe's fruit and vegetables. The hothouses cover the equivalent of 40,000 football pitches and can be seen from space. The polytunnels don't last forever.
Hola vecina, ¿qué pasa? Oye, ¿qué tal estáis? Con el viento. ¿Todo bien?
Sí, sí, bien.
Con el viento todo bien, la casa bien.
We're taken to a migrant camp by a worker who used to live here and says he and others are paid as little as €4.50 an hour, less than half Spain's minimum wage. We're also accompanied by a woman who works with a Catholic organisation dedicated to helping migrants get citizenship.
Up here it says, I love God. Por las personas que están aquí,
¿Sí?
¿es una verdad o imposible?
Es verdad, es verdad. Es más verdad, aunque parezca mentira.
Muy difícil.
Es muy difícil. Aquí está la escuela.
A school.
La escuela, sí, donde los chicos vienen después del trabajo en el invernadero, sí, muy cansados, vienen a estudiar español.
¿Le gustan todos aprender español?
Todos quieren porque saben que es muy importante para vivir en España y buscar un buen trabajo. Si tú hablas bien español, puedes llegar a ser encargado o jefe, ¿no?, de una cuadrilla.
And this is where they live, yeah?
Sí, sí, estos son casas donde vive la gente.
Sí, sí, sí.
Hoy con el viento, la lluvia, está muy mal.
¿Cuántas personas están aquí?
Se calcula 400, 500.
How long did you live here for?
I think it's like 9 months.
And what was it like?
It's difficult.
No water, no electricity?
No water. If you want water, you take it from this side or lower there.
So this is the one place you can get water?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
This is my ex-home.
This is where you used to live?
Yeah.
So there were two of them living in here. I don't know if we can see into the courtyard, if you'd like to call it that. But just some water bottles waiting to be filled up. No light, no proper light, that is. He says it's like hell in the summer.
Like hell in the summer. High temperature.
One day, do you think you'll have your own proper home here in Spain?
Yeah, I believe. I think I will have, so I'm trying to improve my life. I'm studying right now, so in the future, I believe that I can have my own home.
One man tells us he had to find €5,000 to get a proper work contract, which comes with papers and increases his residency chances.
Ya has pagado al jefe. Mucho dinero, ¿eh?
It's all run by criminal gangs, someone else says. In the nearby charity, migrants are given rooms in exchange for paying a small rent and doing chores. Abdullah's job is to clean the lavatories and the showers. Today, good news has arrived. He has residency. Now he's preparing to move out and find a new job.
Ce permiso de residencia, ça vous fait très heureux?
Très, très heureux.
Oui?
Ça me fait plaisir.
C'est comme un rêve?
Si.
Oui?
Bon. Ça va me permettre de faire beaucoup de choses. Pour travailler, je suis très libre ici. Bon, c'est ça.
Congratulations.
Si.
Merci beaucoup.
Gracias. Merci.
Some of Abdullah's fellow residents are still waiting.
Ahora yo no tengo papeles, yo trabajo poco a poco. C'est difficile, mais on n'a pas de choix. Je quitte Sénégal pour venir au Maroc, après Maroc, l'Espagne. La vie d'Europe et Afrique non est égale también, ¿sabes? C'est pas la même chose.
Although another man we meet from Senegal has also just got his papers.
Je suis venu ici avec un pirogue pour me battre à travailler et gagner quelque chose pour moi et ma famille aussi. Mon père est là-bas, ma mère et mes frères et sœurs, et ma femme aussi et mon fils. On gagne un petit peu de l'argent, mais Ça ne suffit pas.
As we move on, news comes that a royal decree's been issued to legitimize the status of up to 500,000 undocumented migrants and their families. They can apply for 1 year's legal residency and a work permit if they have no criminal record. Longer-term stays could follow. Businesses say it's a great idea, but there's been a predictable backlash from those who say Spain simply can't cope with the extra numbers, who will only add to the country's economic problems. The new law's been introduced partly because of empty villages like Saelices, about 1.5 hours south of Madrid. There used to be 2,500 people here. Now there are about 500. Young people have left to find jobs elsewhere, and since the country's birth rate is falling, so they're paying people like Noelia to come and live here. There'll be another baby here soon. Saelices' population is on the way up. Noelia left Venezuela in 2018 and is going to reopen the butchers, which has been closed for 6 years. She's moved from another part of Spain because the cost of living here is much lower, and even with all the work she's had to do on the shop, she's happier now.
Buscamos esto por tranquilidad, por salud mental, porque la ciudad es un poco difícil, la vida muy costosa, difícil para conseguir piso, fuerte. Luego tengo una hija ya preadolescente y estaba en esa etapa de quedar con amigas y entonces era con el miedo. En cambio, desde que estamos aquí es otra cosa.
Es muy fácil aquí en comparo a Venezuela.
Claro, sí, es otra cosa. Sí, aquí es súper bien, o sea, ni comparación. A ver, yo salí hace casi 8 años de mi país, en plena crisis, y lo que recuerdo es fatal.
Are you very excited about opening the shop?
Sí. La semana que viene, pues, aperturamos y con la mejor actitud y con las ganas de aportar al pueblo y de trabajar y de hacerlo bien, y que sea agradable al pueblo y que sea de ayuda para ellos también, ya que aquí no contamos con carnicería y bueno.
The mayor believes repopulation in this way is working and says school numbers have recently trebled.
Dígame, ese pueblo es vacío a ese momento, en 4 o 5 años que pasa aquí.
Pues desde el Ayuntamiento de Saelices estamos trabajando para que cada vez más familias y más personas vengan a Saelices a desarrollar su proyecto de vida y el de sus familias, y también para que nuevos negocios, con las oportunidades que ofrece nuestro pueblo, puedan abrirse y ofrecer cada vez más servicios.
Is that a dream?
Fue un sueño que actualmente se está convirtiendo en realidad, con mucho trabajo.
We also meet a baker who's moved from Barcelona because here it's cheaper. He starts work alone at midnight and doesn't finish until after lunch. To see his family, he has to drive almost 6 hours, but it's worth it, he tells us. There's less pressure.
Barcelona está intocable.
Then, in the village of Ceuta, we find a young couple who've moved here from Cuba with their 5-year-old son. Yasmani works at a cheese factory. Together, they say, life is much calmer and affordable.
Las culturas son similares, entonces nos hemos insertado bien en el pueblo.
People like these are matched to towns and villages by a charity.
Estamos trabajando en más de 300 pueblos ahora mismo. Y bueno, claro, eso se nota pues en negocios que no han cerrado. Pues al final es muy importante que haya un bar, que haya una farmacia, que haya una tienda. Entonces lo que estamos sobre todo consiguiendo, ya no intentando, sino consiguiendo es eso, que se mantengan esos negocios y que el pueblo siga teniendo vida.
But there are other ways of bringing life back to rural areas. According to this far-right party leader in Madrid, he has 5 children, and says all immigrants should be deported. Spanish people, he believes, should simply have big families.
But not everybody's going to want to have more children. Not everybody can have more children. Do you not need other people to come in?
No, y porque al final el principio de identidad que tiene un pueblo se asemeja con sus seres semejantes. Tú, para que exista España, tiene que haber españoles. Si en España lo llenamos de gente extranjera, sobre todo racialmente de fuera, pues dejará de ser España. Yo creo que es posible todavía salvar la identidad de nuestros pueblos soberanos, las patrias comunes de toda Europa, frente a la invasión migratoria y otras cuestiones de políticas del poder.
Yet Alvaro here knows it's not as simple as having more children. His brother has quit the family sheep and cheese farm. No locals want to work there, and now they employ migrant workers.
You need people from different countries. Why is that?
That's because here young people don't want to work in the field, don't want to get dirty. So yeah, it's a hard thing to do here. Like find people, find professional people, because this is like a really unprofessional sector. So it's hard to find people here. Yeah.
Do you think Spanish people should do this? Do you think they're lazy?
I don't know if they are lazy, but they are so disconnected from the work in the field and the work with the animals, and most of people in the cities just don't know where the food comes from. So it's like they're so disconnected from reality, they are so disconnected from nature.
Osam has come to Spain from Sudan.
Me gusta animales, trabajo de animales. Yo también trabajo eso en mi país, con mi familia también tiene animales, yo también antes trabajo eso, de animales todos, de oveja, de vaca, todos.
Is it very different here? Very different here.
Eso tiene la ordenada en máquina, mi país solo en manos. Aquí fácil mi país.
¿Sí?
Sí, mi país no es difícil.
¿Sí? ¿Con lluvia?
No tiene casa con aquí, solo viviendo en la campo fuera solo.
Aquí en España me han abierto muchas oportunidades. Sí me quiero radicar acá. A Colombia no pienso volver, por énfasis solamente de turismo. Aquí el salario es mucho mejor que en Colombia. El salario aquí es el triple mejor que en Colombia.
The two we've met are just some of the migrants who are being trained at a local shepherding school.
Es que es muy importante recalcar que este tipo de trabajo en ganaderías, a diferencia de otros trabajos, aquí no hay temporalidad. Atender a todos estos animales, esto requiere una atención constante. Entonces, claro, es un tipo de trabajo que da una seguridad económica y una estabilidad laboral que otro tipo de trabajo no le da a todos estos perfiles.
He works with migrant charities to get students for his courses.
Aproximadamente el 85% son personas extracomunitarias. El perfil más habitual suele venir de Mali y de Senegal, suelen ser la mayoría subsaharianos, y viene también mucha gente de Venezuela, de Colombia, viene del Magreb, sobre todo Marruecos, por la proximidad, hay mucha cercanía. El campo ahora mismo no se entiende sin trabajadores que han venido de otro país.
For those still waiting in Ceuta, Spain may not be a final destination. Yassine, in numerous attempts to resettle, has already seen Spain, France, Italy, Greece, and large parts of the Balkans.
لحظة اقتحام الحدود كوسوفية.
As well as prison in Germany, where his cell might actually have been bigger than his current home address. And how long have you slept in this car?
2 months. Look, what I do. I want a new life. I want a perfect life. Not perfect, but respect life.
Yassine says he'll keep on trying. So too does Khaled, the young archer. Do you have fears about what will happen?
Of course, fears, yes, of course I have fears, but I don't have a choice. I'm here, I'm waiting my turn to go out and to see my life.
Swapping the streets of a North African town for life as a shepherd in mainland Spain may not be something that he and others dream of, but it could perhaps be something to aim for.